Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like
Hey,
a
hey, 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 hey,
Show
hey.
them all what I'm made up. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Hey, everybody.
Right now.
Create that energy. Let's
Baby,
go.
I'm as young
I'm
as the
Kat, and
night.
this is
I wanna
Brenda.
dance right now.
And you are watching
Babe
Babes
on
Unscripted.
Scripted. Yay. Hello, everybody. Today we have a beautiful woman, Jackie McLean, who is a registered nurse turned health coach. So I'm so excited to have her here today to give us really juicy tidbits on health and wellness. Welcome, Jackie.
Welcome, Jackie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, the pleasure is ours. So I just want to start off talking a little bit about how we met. You have a beautiful niece, Zakil, who has been to the Tony Robbins events with us that we're always talking about. And your niece is an absolute treasure. And she's just so kind and compassionate and caring. And she just happened to throw it in the chat of one of these groups that we're in, and said, I have the most amazing aunt, and she has now started this whole health coaching practice. And so I contacted you, and it's been a pleasure ever since. You have an amazing personality, and I'm so excited to hear about your story.
Oh, thank you. I agree with everything you said about my niece. She's all of what you just said and more. So, like you mentioned earlier, I've been a registered nurse for 28 years, and I recently started my health coaching practice. One of the reasons why I started my practice was because over the years, I've realized that the healthcare system is broken. It's reactive instead of being proactive. Okay? It's about treating symptoms, prescribing medication, instead of getting to the root cause or instead of being preventative. Along with that, I have a strong family history of chronic diseases, diabetes and hypertension. And actually, I do have diabetes, but it's controlled. I don't have hypertension because of the changes that I've made. But most of my family members have diabetes and hypertension. And what was sad was that my brother, that's 1 year older than me, passed away from a heart attack due to uncontrolled hypertension a few years ago. And that was because he did not take his medicine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A simple thing like did not take his medicine. And along the way, my mom, she lost her leg.
Oh, wow.
My older cousin, she lost her leg. That was from diabetes. And I have other family members too who have been stricken with this disease. So I made a vow to myself that I am going to do whatever I can to prevent these things from reoccurring, starting with myself. So like I don't have hypertension because I stay active and I've changed my diet, and those are the things that have mainly helped me along the way.
Oh, wow. You've mentioned about family members losing a leg. I had an uncle who passed away. He had diabetes. So my mom has diabetes. They're in medication. My father has diabetes, medication. And for me, I work out, right? So while I was pregnant, I had gestational diabetes and I used to take insulin. So I made it a priority to make sure that I'm eating healthy and prioritizing. But there there was a time for the past few months that I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and now I have fatty liver, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm working on that on fixing that because I had so many terrible symptoms and I'm like, what is wrong with me? When I got checked, they finally told me your liver enzymes are elevators, my AST and ALT. So right now that's what I'm doing. I'm taking action because again, I have uncles and aunts the same thing, Jackie. Oh my
Yes.
God. So can you tell us what type of measures that you're doing, preventive measures that you're doing to prevent hypertension and diabetes?
Oh, sure. So, like I said, I do have diabetes, type 2 diabetes. I am on medicine, and my goal for this year is to stop taking the medicine. Right, the last time my hemoglobin A1C was 5.7, which is right at the border. So my goal is to get below that. At the present moment, my blood pressure is less than 120 over 90, which is 80, which is considered normal. And what I've done for both of these things is I walk at least an hour, hour and a half, at least 3 times a week. According to the literature, it's best to walk in the evening to decrease your blood pressure.
Oh, wow.
Also, yeah,
I'm writing this down. I'm doing this too.
also I do weightlifting. I try to do that like twice a week.
That's what I tell my mom. Oh my God.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that. Can I ask you, when you weight lift, how heavy are you lifting? No, I
So I have
asked
a,
because my mother is 62 and I'm
uh-huh.
like, Mom, she can't get her sugar down. So she tries everything in a minute, fasting, everything. But now that you mentioned weights, I'm so glad because I want to know. She's like, oh, I don't know if I want to lift those weights because of this, because of that. But I have to tell her this.
But I think it's individualized though, because like I have a injury over here, so I can't lift too heavy at the top. But when I'm pushing with my legs, I'm doing 90 pounds or over 100 pounds.
Wow.
So it just depends, right? And depending on which exercise I'm doing, I might be, if I'm using the bar, I might be doing 60 pounds. It just depends. So like I mentioned, I exercise. Sometimes I do water aerobics um, because that helps too. It helps with the joints. So, I'm older, so that might be nice for your mom too. Go ahead, Kat.
Oh no, I was going to go talk about the walking at nighttime too as well. I don't want to skip over that. Like why is that so much more beneficial to do it at nighttime?
I'm not sure, but when I read the literature, because I was looking to see when was the best time to exercise, and they said in the evening is the best time to exercise. But I don't remember
Now, I
what
think
was the specific reason.
and I think my mom does it in the evening because I think she read that it just brings down when you go to sleep, basically. Like it'll bring down like digestion. It'll start the digestion, so it'll bring your sugars down. So I guess like the body starts breaking down the glucose and everything. So when you go to
Okay.
sleep, yeah, it won't affect your numbers in the morning. So you're already burning them out.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. In addition to that, I watch what I eat. When it comes to salt, the recommendation is to have less than 2,300 milligrams per day. But if you have hypertension or is at risk, it should be less, 1,500 milligrams. And the other day I did a video showing that 2,300 milligrams is 1 teaspoon. So think about that.
Wow. Imagine how much like McDonald's cheeseburgers and
Yes,
fries
Yeah.
have.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, I talked about exercise. I talked about salt. It's also recommended to eat more fruits and vegetables and higher protein, right? And I know sometimes people don't like veggies, but it's very important. And most of those things, it's an acquired taste because I usually did not eat vegetables every day, but I'm eating much more vegetables now because when I think of losing a limb or having a
Absolutely.
stroke,
Absolutely.
I choose the veggies.
You
You're
know what
absolutely right.
you know what I started doing, Kat, since UPW? I started roasting them in my air fryer. I take what is that? Grapefruit and like half a grapefruit, squeeze it on the veggies, and then I
Oh,
do a little bit of salt and some pepper, and garlic powder. And let me tell you, try that.
Wow.
It's so good. Try it.
That sounds delicious. I've never tried grapefruit squeezed
So
on
good.
veggies.
So good.
Me either. It's usually lemon, but never grapefruit. But that sounds nice.
The
Yes.
reason I found that is because I had like 6 of them, and I'm like, I need to get rid of these grapefruit. What am I gonna do? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna squeeze them on the fruit. I mean, on the vegetables.
One other thing that I want to talk about is the sodium, the salt.
Mhm.
When you think about 1 teaspoon of salt for the whole day, right? Think about going out and going to the restaurant or buying fast food. Most of the time, we don't even know how much salt is in that food, right?
Yeah.
And imagine eating out 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So, we have control in less than 20% of the salt that we take in, because majority of the food that we eat are processed food.
Yeah.
Like even the canned vegetables, unless you're buying low
Yeah.
sodium, they do have salt. And one of the things that I think we need to do as a people is learn to read the label on the
Yes.
foods, because that's where you could tell how much salt you're consuming depending on the serving in
Mhm.
regards to the whole box.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach myself, that's something that I learned to do. But you know what? I kind of skipped over that I am now finding is seasoning, right? I, I really kind of just discovered this because in my mind, if it says oregano, it's oregano, right? But when you read the labels of a lot of these things, especially in the Latin community, and maybe for you too in the Caribbean, you may be using adobo, right? And a lot of these things have MSG in it and a whole bunch of different anti-caking chemicals and all these different things added to the seasonings.
The
And
sodium too.
yeah, and I really just started being more aware of that. I think I want to say in the last like year and a half, 2 years maybe. Because I just automatically assumed, oh, this is just a mix of garlic and turmeric or whatever it is, and not really realizing that a lot of these seasonings have these chemicals in it. And another thing that I learned is that MSG is actually considered a natural flavoring, right? So if it's listed in the ingredients as natural flavoring, and that's one of the things that it says, the thing that you have to do is actually call the company and ask if that natural flavoring is MSG. That's how they get around it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly. So here I was putting these seasonings thinking, oh, this is natural flavoring, and truly it's MSG.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's a tip that I can give, that even if you do read the labels, you have to know how to read the labels. And that's one way that they have been getting around putting these chemicals in it without us knowing.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So Jackie, you said walking, lifting weights, watching your sodium and eating vegetables, and what else?
And I talked about water aerobics, right? But one of the things that I want to talk about with exercise, most people, not everybody, but most people don't like to exercise, right? So it's important for us to find something that we like. It might even be dancing, right? It might even be dancing. It might even be yoga. Like I said, walking, jogging. It could be anything that just gets you moving, whatever that is, and that you like, that's what you should do, but do it consistently.
And how often do you lift weights?
Twice a week.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
I lift every day. I
Wow.
I do like split workouts, and then I do just walking in the mornings or whenever I can after. So I was just curious. I'm gonna tell my mom that she needs to lift weight. Lift weight, mom.
You could tell her this old lady over here is
I'm
lifting
like,
weights, so she
Jackie
can do it.
said, if you have questions, I'm gonna get Jackie on you.
That's okay. That's okay.
I love that. I actually have been doing a lot of the things that you're talking about because this story is very near and dear to my heart as well, because my dad has diabetes and my grandfather on my mother's side has diabetes. So it runs on both sides of the family. And I love walking regardless, right? So I try to at least get a 15-minute walk in every single day. And then what's helped me is exactly what you're saying, just get moving. So,
Exactly.
you know, over the years, these last few years, I had some health challenges. I had COVID, and then I had long COVID. And then that resulted, or what I believe resulted in having my gallbladder out, which caused a
Wow.
lot of inflammation and digestive system issues. And then in efforts to kind of walk that off, I ended up tearing my meniscus and my ACL.
Oh no.
So it's been a challenge. And what has helped me is that principle is just get moving. So even if it's just 10 minutes a day of yoga, right? Even if I just get just the 15 minutes of walking, at least it's something. But then I try to add in 10 minutes of yoga. And then I try to do exercises in between everything that I'm doing, right? Because the stumbling block that I was having is that getting to the gym or setting aside that 20 minutes, that 30 minutes, that hour to do a specific workout was hard to do with my schedule and all the things that I'm putting on my plate. So sometimes I'll just do dance to a song for a few
Yes.
minutes,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And just kind of compile a list of, let's say, today I might do 30 squats, 30 lunges, 30 biceps, 30 triceps, and just check that off as I'm going throughout my day. And that's actually been one of my saving graces because I wasn't really getting enough exercise in before with all these challenges, right? So I was like, how am I going to get back into this routine where I was like running races and in the gym all the time? And so I think that what you're saying, Jackie, is so valuable. I don't want our listeners to bypass that. Like, whatever it is that you like, whatever is going to get you moving, moving is better than not moving,
Yes.
right?
Listen,
Yes,
we
absolutely.
have YouTube University. Okay, you can get anything. That's what I call it. I'm like, listen, honestly, I was going through some mental health stuff like during the pandemic, maybe like towards the end. YouTube University helped me. I couldn't
Yeah.
find a therapist. I'm like, I need somebody to talk to. I've been alone in this house, you know, and you know, and your family is going through it. I'm going through it. So I'm like, you know what? I have to talk to somebody. But I found YouTube very helpful, right? Um, I also use I think it's Grow with Joe. She's really good. Those are one of the ladies that I use. She has free workouts and she has it nicely organized and sometimes she has it because at that time my knee was hurting. So even like no jumping exercises. So I mean, come on, everyone. You can move now, okay, for free.
One of the things that one of my past clients did, she didn't like to go outside. So what she would do, she had a 2-story house. So what she would do is she would go up and down the stairs, up and down the
Oh, that's so
stairs, like
creative.
10 minutes in the
Yes.
morning. Um, and then on our first break, I guess she would do 10 minutes. Lunchtime, she would do 10 minutes. In the afternoon, she would do 10 minutes. I'm not sure if she did another 10 at night, but I know multiple times throughout the day she would do that. And even me, when I used to go into the office, I used to go in an hour early and walk inside the building. If the weather was nice, I would walk outside. I would walk on my first break, my lunch break. If I had the time for my afternoon break, I'd walk again. Everyone knew me, the lady that walked.
I love that. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I totally
Yes.
get that. I've done the stairs thing before, actually, too, in this like healing journey that I've had because I'm like, I have to get moving. And I remember one of the times I was in the hospital because of this, you know, long COVID and gallbladder stuff, I remember I literally just started doing laps around the hospital floor.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And I remember the nurses and the doctors like saluted me. They're like, you're determined. I'm like, yes, I had my little IV and my robe and I was walking around laps because I'm like,
Yes.
this is I gotta make this happen.
I hope you close the back of your robe.
I might have moved a couple of people, I'm not
Ah.
gonna lie. But you know, they're all professionals.
Consistency is the key.
Yes.
Yes.
Another
So
thing that I did was ankle weights, right? So put ankle
awesome.
weights, and when you're on your walk, just going on the curb, using the curb as like a little stairmaster, really helped me, right? Just doing like step up, step down, step up, step down, and then you walk the block, and then at the next curb you do the same thing. So where
That's
there's a
good.
will, there's a way.
Yes.
Absolutely. So Jackie, do you have now, you know, we are human and we want to treat ourselves once in a blue moon. Do you allow yourself to treat yourself to something
Oh, yes.
delicious? Okay, good.
Listen, I would be lying. I don't believe anybody's perfect. I have a rule. I live by the 80-20 rule. Okay. My goal is to do good 80% or more of the time, but there's always a little bit of wiggle room because I know I'm not
Love the
perfect.
80-20.
And I am not going to beat myself up if I indulge just a little bit. Mm-mm.
I'm gonna go do some 20 little bit after this after our podcast.
Ah,
Yeah, I'm gonna have a little wine, maybe one glass or two, and that's it. Red wine only.
that was
That's
really
good.
cute. I'm gonna do my 20.
I'm gonna do my 20 today, okay?
As long as it's not every day, it's okay.
No, it's not every day. Not with the AST numbers. I can't can't
Yes.
afford it.
So can you tell us also a little bit more about doing exercise in the water? Because I know that's something that I'm not really able to do now because I don't have a gym with a pool, but that's something that's really good for your joints. So
Oh,
can you tell
yes.
us more about that?
And that's why I started it. And you actually, because you have an instructor and they're telling you what to do. And it's just like as if you're at the gym because the water provides the force, right? Or the weight against your arm when your arm is moving or your leg. And they have the weights that's very light, but when you get it in the water, it's really heavy. So we would be doing squats, we would be doing jumping jacks, we would be running from one end to the other. Your heart rate would really go up. And at the same time, no injury to your joints. So that's the good part.
Yes, that's amazing. I am looking into getting into a gym that has a pool for that reason, since I'm still on this ACL meniscus recovery journey. So it's really miraculous what that can do for you
Yes,
in terms of having that weight kind of lifted off of your joints.
yes.
Awesome. Can
I would encourage anyone that has joint challenges, because most of the time when individuals have a joint issue, they tend to say, oh, I can't.
Yep.
Oh, no, I can't do that. Oh, no, I can't. Yes,
Right.
you can. Yes, you can. They just have to find, a pool, hopefully, like you say, it's in their community or close by that they could go to. The pool where I go, it's in my community, but I have to drive at least 20-25 miles, but I go
Mm,
because I remember that the amputation, I remember the stroke or the heart attack.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't want to go, but I do go because I know it's a priority. I
Yeah.
make
yeah.
it a priority.
So I love that you are getting into coaching because I'm a long-term investment coach and I love to inspire women to start investing long-term. Are you investing?
No.
Ah, break my heart.
Not on my own. I'm not investing on my own because
Okay.
I don't think I have enough knowledge.
Oh, see, that's like so I did a survey and that's one of the top three. It's the knowledge.
Yeah.
And of course there's this fear of the market, but I'm working on that on educating women to not be afraid and to
Yes.
educate themselves in investing. So I hope I can do
That's
that for you.
wonderful.
Yeah. So can you tell us about your coaching?
So I recently started my private practice. It's Pyrus Health Coaching and Consulting. Most of my coaching is done virtually. I do have one-to-one and I do have groups. And then there's different packages and it's individualized to that person. So in my package, it's usually, if it's one-to-one, it's usually 50 minutes, depending on how long we're going to do, whether it's 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. And then we have group coaching, and that just depends on what the need is. So, and again, the investment varies, right? Depending on the need. I offer a safe space, safe, non-judgmental space, so the individual could share whatever it is that they're having challenges with. I provide some education, and my coaching, although it's around, and I didn't say this and I should have said it, let me just say it. I work with middle-aged adults who are struggling with hypertension to shift their mindset, to take control of their health, so they could improve their quality of life.
Girl,
prevent
you know,
stroke.
she knows her avatar. Did you hear that? Okay,
Yes.
You gotta tell that again. Say it one more time. No, she knows. Just
Oh,
you heard that,
Brenda.
right?
I did.
Had a clear message of who she serves. I want to
Very
hear it again.
specific.
I love it.
specific.
I love it.
And you know, it's funny that you mentioned that, Brenda, because as a nurse, we want to do everything, right? So it was really hard for me to niche down. But when I think back on my family history and what's important to me and the difference and the legacy that I would like to leave, I ended up here. So I work with middle-aged adults who are struggling with hypertension to shift their mindset and take control of their health so they could improve their quality of life.
I
Two,
love it. Oh,
Prevent
you know what?
stroke, heart
Wait.
attack, or even death.
I love
Oh
that.
God, I love it. That's amazing.
So in my coaching container, it's not just about education. I'm not telling you, yes, I do provide education. What is hypertension? What are some of the risks? What are some of the signs and symptoms, complication? I do, but that's not the main focus. The main focus is, why are you here?
Mm.
Where do you want to go? What is
Right, right.
preventing you? What have you tried in the past? Okay, let's work to
love
see
it.
where that gap is, where that barrier is. What is keeping you here?
I love
So
it.
that's my main focus, the mindset.
I love
Thank you for tuning in to Babes Unscripted. We hope you've enjoyed today's episode and found it both entertaining and insightful. If you want more unfiltered and unscripted conversations, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified when we post new episodes. Remember, life is unscripted, and we're here to embrace every moment of it with you. Until next time, stay unfiltered, stay authentic, and stay fabulous. This is your host, Brenda Paz and Kat, signing off Babes Unscripted. Bye now.